We will now be talking about converting temperature. As we know, there are different ways to measure temperature. In America, we use Fahrenheit. That's a very old scale, and we just haven't converted over to metric system yet. But we do see some temperatures in Celsius. Everywhere else on the planet, they use Celsius. So, I will show you today how to convert, but just so that you understand there is a difference. Let's just take the boiling point of water. Water boils, okay, at 212 degrees Fahrenheit. So you have to get it up to 212, and then it'll start to boil. If I were to do the same thing measuring in Celsius, it is 100 degrees Celsius. Okay, so it's just a different scale. Let's look at the opposite end. Freezing. Water freezes. We know that because when it gets to 32 degrees Fahrenheit, our water starts to turn to ice. That's also when it sometimes starts to snow. In the Celsius measurement, 0 degrees Celsius is when water freezes. So as we looked at the metric units with length, mass, and capacity, now with temperature, you can see it's also based on a lot of tens and hundreds and zeros. So in a manner of speaking, this is a little bit easier to figure out. We're just not used to it. So what we are going to do is we are going to look at how to convert. If we have a temperature in Celsius, what does that mean in Fahrenheit? And the other way. So we have two formulas. I have to look them up every time. I do not have these formulas from memory, and that's okay. They're a little bit complicated too. So I'm looking at, if I want to convert Celsius to Fahrenheit, I have a Celsius temperature. So I am going to take 9/5 of my Celsius and then add 32, and I get Fahrenheit. If I wanted to do Fahrenheit to Celsius, so if I have a temperature here in America, I want to see what are they reading it in Canada, I would take my Fahrenheit, subtract 32, multiply by 5/9. That's pretty complicated. So we are going to just worry about estimating the temperature conversion. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to write in green what we are going to do. So if I have a Celsius temperature and I want to convert it to Fahrenheit, 9/5 is pretty close to 2. If I did 9 divided by 5, I get 1.8-ish. That's pretty close to 2. So to estimate, I am going to multiply my Celsius times 2, and then 32 is pretty close to 30. So this is going to give me an estimate of what my Fahrenheit temperature will be. So for example, say I have, let me erase this for now. Say I have 20 degrees Celsius, and I want to convert that approximately into Fahrenheit. So what I am going to do is I am going to put in my Celsius, my 20 here. So Fahrenheit is equal to 2 times 20 plus 30. I'm just going to plug that number in, and now we are going to do the computation. We are going to use our PEMDAS. So here we are going to multiply first. So 2 times 20 is 40, and then I'm going to add 30. So my answer is 70. So approximately 20 degrees Celsius is equal to 70 degrees Fahrenheit. Let's do the opposite here. If I have Celsius, I'm going to create an approximate amount. So I'm going to write this in green. I'm going to say that Celsius is approximately equal to 5/9. That is really close to 1/2. So I'm going to say 1/2 times whatever my Fahrenheit is, and we already said 32 is pretty close to 30. So that looks a little bit easier. So let's say we have a super hot day here in Indiana, and it gets up to 100 degrees Fahrenheit. I want to know what is that in Celsius. So what I'm going to do is take my approximating formula, 1/2, and then I have Fahrenheit, so I'm going to take my 100, I'm going to subtract 30 from it. Okay, so here is my formula. Now, we're going to use our PEMDAS, so we're going to use our parentheses first. So we're going to do this first. 100 minus 30 is 70, all right? Now, if I take 1/2 of 70, that's the same as 70 divided by 2. I get 35. So 100 degrees Fahrenheit is equal to 35 degrees Celsius. Now we go and practice.